that we would encourage each other, we would help each other, and that we would honor you in everything we do and say. In your name, amen.
Amen.
Our first stop was Mammoth Cave, and this is what we expected to see. There's my wife, there's the kids. We're standing in the dark. There's electric lights all around. There's a guy with a Forest Service hat telling us all about the history of the caves. Lots of handrails, people. But what we found out is if you take the Wild Cave tour, they give you coveralls, a helmet, a headlight, and knee pads. And you start out climbing and then walking through some small caves, and the caves start to get smaller. You go from walking to crouching to walking on your knees. From walking on our knees, we went to crawling on our hands and knees, to the point where the cave got so small that we couldn't walk on our hands and knees anymore and had to shimmy on our bellies, doing an army crawl or just kind of wiggling through. You can see here we are laying on our stomachs and our heads are still hitting the top of the ceiling of this small cave, to the point where at the end of that particular section of cave, here I am coming through a hole that I had to turn my head sideways to get through, and if I took too deep a breath, my chest and back would seal against the hole, so I needed to exhale to get through. From Mammoth Cave, we hit the road again and arrived in North Carolina, where we visited friends and did some hiking in the Blue Ridge Mountains and got to walk around in the warmer weather of North Carolina. From there, we hit the road again and arrived in Hilton Head, South Carolina, where it was warm enough we could have the top down in the convertible and enjoy the weather there. We also went inside and did a little shooting. Here's me with an MP5 full auto. My son also took a try at it. He was a little more reserved to start with, but he did get the hang of it.
Ready, Dad?
Yep. Lean it in. Cut it. Good job.
That's 25 rounds in less than 2 seconds.
Cut it.
But ultimately his smile was worth it. From South Carolina, we headed up to West Virginia, where we went to the New River Gorge and enjoyed some whitewater rafting. Here we are going through some rapids, and with me in the front, and I look back to see my family just as I get very wet, and they all laugh at me. We really enjoyed our time, and when we got to the end, each of us did our SuperStevens secret handshake. Here's Samantha's personal secret handshake. And Hannah comes along. Woo! And a big hug. Ultimately, we had a really good time. We enjoyed all the adventure. Even enjoyed a little time to relax, but ultimately we're happy to be home where we can go back to school and work and